Crosby from the corner, twisting and turning inside out. Beautiful move, trying to get to Sonami. He holds, he shoots, he scores! Absolutely!
The pitch, high fly ball center field. It's hit pretty well toward the wall. Goal!
Roethlisberger gives a run of room here. Juju Smith-Schuster off to the races inside the 30, the 20, the 10.
Wow, did you see that blur? I'm looking at the 10 anniversary seasons these made by A1. He doesn't believe me each week, but he made it. I appreciate it. And we saw some blur coming in. Thanks for watching our live Pittsburgh Sportsline show in the BPTV studio right here in Bethel Park in the municipal building where the library, the mayor's office, and the police station is right next door. Thank you for watching us on Comcast 7, only in Bethel Park. Thank you for watching us on Verizon 32 in Bethel Park and all the way from Nemacolin, Cranberry, Wexford, and even the city of Pittsburgh. And somebody told me when he had Verizon 32, I won't mention his name, Smoking Jim, but he watched it on Verizon 32 in Monroeville.
Yes.
So we appreciate all of you watching. Made a new friend at Olive Oil's Pizzeria, Chuck. He said he'd check out the show. He lives in Bethel Park. He was getting a hoagie from Olive Oil's. We'll talk about them in a few minutes. So I said, Chuck, I do a show at 7 o'clock to 8. He goes, I'll tune in. Hello, Chuck. Thanks for all the likes on Facebook. We hit a brand new high the other day. You know, we're trying to get 7,000. So we finally moved out of the 20s. We're at 6,939. We're trying to boost it up. So Jonathan's new as an intern. If you haven't liked Pittsburgh Sportsline, I put everybody on the spot. A2, I don't even think you're on Facebook. So
No, I'm not, sadly.
I can't even ask you again. See how I remember this stuff? And A1 already liked us and boosted us up. It's going to be almost 2 years for this young man. He's only 21, and he got 2 years in.
He got A1 on his shorts. He's the man.
Oh, that's
He's the
and one.
man.
That's basketball.
Somebody kill Smoking Jim's mic because it's not working well. All right, we got some promos here. First one up. A1's on the camera and Jonathan's on the other camera. We'll see what they do. Let's see what happens here. He hit it. And one other suggestion, Dave Cable was watching last week, and he wanted me to tell you, and I forgot to tell the guys at the beginning of the show because I discussed with Jonathan about the black hole of knowledge. Dave wants closer so you can almost read what I'm putting up here. And he doesn't know how you can do it except adjust the camera on each one. So if you can pull it up like that.
Look at that phone number.
That would do it. Because call 412-831. Look at how I'm not looking. 1900. Hillcrest Shopping Center. 5 minutes from the studio, the back way, going by Brewster's and cutting back in those streets. That's how I make it here. They got great Italian food. They got great Italian desserts, great salads. They got ziti, rigatoni, special pizzas. You name it, they got it. In the summer, they usually get Italian ice. We'll have to see if they get it. We had summer 3 days, the last 3 days. Now we're getting fall weather again, so just hang in there. But that's Olive Oil's Pizzeria. They sponsor us with an XL pepperoni pizza and a steak hoagie cut in 6 slices. So thank you, Frank Fanera, the owner. Next up, now if A2 can pull in on, or A1 can pull in on this close, this matches A2's colors. I should have him hold it. We'll see what he does on this close-up. You know what? Thanks, Dave.
I've never been able to see the font that clearly, to be honest with you.
Well, Nick, for you being here less than 2 years also, that's quite the compliment coming from a graduate of Waynesburg University.
Allegedly, according to Smoking.
No,
No, I can't.
his mic's turned off.
Oh, that's right. You know what? I can't believe my work. After I started doing good stuff, he was like, "Oh, you have a degree." He didn't believe the actual degree that I brought in. He needed to see.
It was so flimsy.
We'll go a little off subject tonight because we're used to it. Smoking Jim, I have a $5 bet that you can't bring in any of your degrees. And he has basket weaving, girl watching, and other things like that. Well, he only found out on our show that they give out sheepskins, so I got a $5 bet, just like my dollar bet I have with him, that he can't produce the sheepskin. You heard it here. And he's a gambling man. I'll pull money out again. I don't normally do it, but all right, back to Bethel Park Historical Society Schoolhouse Arts and History Center. Did we lose that, or we get back to it, A1? All right.
Look at the font.
Look at those different fonts. You understand that, Smoking. You'll be doing that on your Mac Pro
can't wait.
in about 6 months. In about 6 months.
I took a week
They're at no, you still took another week. That's 2600 South Park Road, the 1905 schoolhouse, Bethel Park High School, original. It's been refurbished, windows, roof, you name it, the cupola, the bell from the high school that moved it there to back the original cupola that's up on the roof, Smoking Jim. They got a flag, an old-time flag over 50 years old, so it's got a lot of great things. They have a dance studio, they have an artist, they got my favorite tea place, Reginald's Coffee, and they have the best coffee in the area. They got a roaster right in there, so you can get worldwide coffee beans that they bring in. See them roasted right there for your coffee. Friends of mine, no offense meant to Jonathan who works at Starbucks, but all my friends, and you know I got lots of friends out there, they tell me I would rather have Reginald's Coffee than Starbucks. You heard it here first. To all of you that already go there, you know what I'm talking about. Tell your neighbors, tell your friends, anybody in the area, Reginald's Coffee. Matt and Julie, the owners, are the best. All right, that's what we got there. All right, we need this to show Bennett on Always Be Smiling. Let's see how close he can get on this. There's a little pause. Let's see, drum roll. There we go. What do you think of that, Nick? I know you're fumbling around with your mic.
Yeah, it fell off.
Well,
I gotta go get it. But that's nice. If you can hear me, that's nice.
just whisper in Smoking Jim's ear.
Well, it seems like a nice guy.
Okay. And Bennett was 16 and a half when he died. He had health complications, 2 kidney transplants. His dad, Dean, gave him his last kidney. And his mother, Kristen and Dean, after Bennett passed away, they wanted to honor him. He was always smiling, so they call it Always Be Smiling. And that's Bennett there. And he had a great battle and was always a happy kid, even though he had many disabilities. And he lived to be 16 and a half. The parents supply money to families that need kids, or the kids need a kidney transplant, and they provide money and access to different facilities to help them. They do events throughout the year, so stay tuned to that. I was at an event last year that they had ponies and things for disabled children to ride, and I met Ann, who lives in Bethel Park, who has the horses there, and it's a cool event that they did, and they may do it again. So, all right, let's go to the next one. We'll see what A1 can do on this. We end each show with Stay Joey Strong, and they started the Joey Favis Childhood Cancer Foundation. Look at Joey before he had cancer, the DIPG, the brain cancer that killed him. And it took his life at 8 years old, a month before his 9th birthday, 7 years ago. And the family has lost a second child. The other one was from kidney disease, a young girl named Hannah. And they started this Joey Favis Childhood Cancer Foundation. It's a 501c3. You can donate as little as $1. They do different events throughout the year, different fundraisers. And they also do their biggest event like the 3rd week of September called the Joey Favis Superheroes 5K 1 mile run. They had the talking machine initiate it and do interviews each year, except when he had his kidney transplant. So I'm speaking in the third person, but I missed it. And that's what happens on TV at times. And a nice lady, Amy, filled in for us. And I have some sad news about Amy. Her husband died the other day at 54 years old, surprisingly. And he was a great EMT guy, great father to a couple children, great husband. And he passed away, and they're having a service at the Rutherford Lutheran Church tomorrow at 11 a.m. I'm going to go there to honor him. I met him. We were friends on Facebook, so it's a very sad thing for Amy and her family. And her young son, Zach, was a superstar here. He even started a show that copied off of us having pizza, and they had some fun with that for a year or so. And he's gone on to bigger and better things in acting, and he once did a backflip in the studio because he told me he does martial arts and he could do a backflip. Smoking Jim, you were here. I said, we'll do it now. He goes, here. I go, you told me. Guess what? He did it.
I got it on tape. And I think I taped it, and I think his dad was a martial artist too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that.
No, I was shocked today. Dave sent out an email to everybody. Very sad. All right, next up, Kathleen Miller. A friend of mine told me to talk to her because she had a kidney function of 17%. I got my kidney transplant because my kidney function was 15%. When she goes to 15%, she can get a transplant. She came up with this flyer, and look at Kathleen there. And she's getting sicker all the time because her kidneys are failing. She ended up, because we've been putting flyers up, she thinks somebody that we know is going to be her donor, and she won't tell us until she gets her kidney transplant. So we'll stay tuned for that. Hello to Kathleen. She watches our show once in a while. She's tuning in tonight. You have a good day and stay healthy. Dave Cable likes to have a little fun at my expense. Oh, when he pulls a close-up on my face here. We'll see what happens. Let me see what happens. Whoa. Whoa.
All his glory.
I never saw it that big on the TV. Sorry, folks. That's my smiling face. You recognize that? And that's Uncle Sam, who Smoking Jim found out last year who he is. We won't explain to all of you in kindergarten, grade school, elementary school, middle school, and high school. No explanation necessary. And no disrespect to the Gateway School District that produces champions. And I've yet to find somebody that's truly graduated.
Wow.
And I want you for BPTV. You could be like Jonathan and other people that have been here in high school, and you can come here and be on BPTV as a volunteer cameraman. And Jonathan's at PTC. Like, I think everybody here except for Smoking Jim and I is from PTC. Nick, we didn't mention him yet because he'll be on. And A2 and Ryan. And I know his last name's Thomas. So call 412-831-3304. Tell them you heard Alan Levine, the Talking Machine. We need more volunteers because these guys are only 21, and I expect all of them to move on to bigger and better things. Nick already has his foot in the door in the radio world. He produces shows. On the show we don't like to talk about, The Fan, but to me, we don't have any competition. Nobody's doing what we're doing, so.
Great radio voice. Great voice.
Who?
Nick.
Oh, we weren't talking about him. We were talking about that. We'll move on. Can you shut his mic down? I mean, Ryan, I can only ask you 3 times, 4 times. All right, let's see what happens on this. What's he going to focus on here is what I want to know. I did good. A1, you come in there strong. Look, you got the whole flyer in there, and you only see a little bit of my... We'll have to get a close-up from Jonathan with my color shirt when we get off of this. But Bethel Park Community Foundation had a great event, Party in the Park, the other day on a beautiful day hosted by Andy Amrine, Handy Andy on KDKA, and a legend at BPTV with everything he does here. And it was a great day. I said he has a great link to God because we had good weather. And it was like a summer day. Great crowd of people. Ran into some friends of mine that know my show and have watched me and got to meet me. So it was a nice day. And it was a great theater there. And Lorraine runs the show there. And it was very professional. And Bethel Park Community Foundation donated money to put in a patio. So there's a great patio, not gravel there. And everybody had a great time. I talked to Miss Elaine, the librarian. She was doing face painting, and she goes, "How did you ever meet Smokin' Jim Frazier?" I told her the story. So you can go to bpcf.org and get an application for your group or organization doing great things in the Bethel Park area. We've given out over $1 million over 26 years, and we plan on giving out more. Like, look, we just helped the Party in the Parks Theater, South Park Theater. All right, we got that. And then A1 surprised me for the show, and anybody that's watched the show knows, well, it's showing up yellow on the screen, but this is actually a light green that A1 got me a gray and a green shirt because what's Smokin' Jim say? We'll hear it on. We got Smokin' Jim Frazier. What's on your mind?
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green, you got to see Levine.
I got the green. Look,
Old
this
high
is green.
school quarterback auction days.
I told him he should have just wound the shirt up and threw it at you. That would have been.
Hey, I'm not giving this away to him. That would only fit on his one leg.
That's
Wow.
it, man. But
other than that, it's all good.
hey, Al Levine, the talking machine.
Yeah.
I always said, and I'll continue to say,
Okay.
whether you lose by 21 or 1, it's still a loss. You know, the Pirate fans got to ease up. Al Levine, the talking machine. You know,
What are you even talking about? You don't
He's
watch
supporting
baseball.
the Pirates. He's supporting the Pirates.
and
No,
I
no,
said-
he didn't even watch the
Pirate.
game or hear
No,
about
but
it.
that's what he's saying.
Yeah, but it doesn't make
It's
sense.
just one loss.
It's just one loss. That's all that counts. But hey, Al Levine, the talking machine, real quick. I'm just going to run down some of my heroes for the Pittsburgh Steelers. T.J. Watt, Kevin Green, Fryermuth, Heath Miller, Big Ben, Merrill Hodge, Mike Wagner, Andy Russell, Jack Ham, and Jack Lambert. Always said I could win with an all-white team, Al Levine, the talking machine. I found me a diamond in the rough, Al Levine, the talking machine. This is the week for the draft. Pittsburgh Steelers ought to get a white guy with a black name, Troy Anderson. Troy Anderson from Montana State, 6'3", 245 pounds, Al Levine, the talking machine. Middle linebacker, runs the 40 and 4.4. But here's the reason why I like him so much, Al Levine, the talking machine. In his career, he started at quarterback, running back, outside linebacker, wildcat, fullback. Last year, he had 147 tackles, 14 tackles for losses, 2 sacks, and 2 interceptions.
How many running yards?
No, he played all defense last year. Early in his
I just
career,
needed clarification.
he played offense.
Thank you very
Al
much.
Levine, the talking machine. This
Yes.
is a guy that is versatile, even if he doesn't start your first year on defense. And I'm not sure what rounds the experts got him going in. I got a first-round grade on him. He might not go to the 5th or 6th round. Who knows? I had a first-round grade on
You
him.
mean you're that far off from regular
Well,
scouts?
I had a first-round grade
Fans,
on him.
here's some breaking news. Number 1 for Smokin' Jim. 6 are not even drafted for everybody else.
Listen, I had a first-round grade on Antonio Brown. I had him number 2 receiver in the entire draft, second only to Dez Bryant, and he didn't go to the 6th round. So I don't know what they're looking at. This is what I'm looking at. This guy should go in the 1st round. Who knows where he'll go, but the Pittsburgh Steelers ought to find a way to get him in here because he'd be great immediately on special teams. And again, Al Levine, the talking machine,
Yeah.
you know, if you're white, you're all right with me.
Well,
Troy Anderson, white man with a black name.
little disclaimer. Smokin' Jim's opinions he's not really racist.
He run like
And
a brother.
it seems like everybody I talk to believes you're racist. So I have to put a disclaimer out there on that. And he doesn't really mean about the race card, even though he is black. We don't really bring it up. We just all work together, and then he's prejudiced about Gateway and the world. But other than that, that's a disclaimer, because he doesn't represent A2, Al Levine, the talking machine, and the VIP, Nick Callis.
Ralph
Nor the camera people here.
Ralph Williams loves when you give the disclaimer. I cracked him up.
Yeah.
He's not the only one. No,
Save me a seat at the wedding so I can sit by you at your table.
I don't know if I'll be there early. I said I'd be there after Smoking Jim.
But when's Smoking Jim gonna get there? The
I like
reception
to-
will be
I-
happening.
I like to get there before they cut the cake.
But that's not the ceremony, which is usually the
Well, let me
most
go.
important
Let me
part.
go back in history. For all of you, we had a great cameraman here for years, Devin Shea.
I was on my way.
Devin Shea and Danny, his wife, got married, and everybody was asking me, "Where's Smoking Jim?" And I said he won't be here. Every one of them told me that he said, "I'll be there." And I go, he won't. Two people even called him up. I think one was Devin, and I think Stephanie, Chip's wife, was the other that called him up. And he said, I couldn't make it. So we'll see if he makes this. Then my son and I stopped at Chick-fil-A the other day, and we saw Tony, who Nick knows and Dan knows
Yeah.
from Chick-fil-A. He said, what's up with Smoking Jim? He goes, he got that computer and hasn't used it yet?
I took a week off.
Well,
Oh.
Tony, if you're
money to
listening
good
to
use.
it, he goes, he's unbelievable, Al. He goes, all the time. If it's not Sweeties, he doesn't know much, and he does know some football.
Could I just be like a financial consultant for you and get like
would love
20% of your profits?
I would love it.
Because that would be better use
Nick.
for your money than.
Hey, Nick, you
What?
know I've given you some guidance since I met you.
Yes.
Can you multiply 20 times 0?
Yeah.
What do you get?
0.
Thank you, and that's a KO grad.
Look at I could do some math.
That's why you don't ever sign a deal with a guy wearing a pirate hat who bets against the Pirates all the time, and he lost money betting against them last year.
I'm shocked
Who
he-
could have lost money last year?
Yeah.
They lost 101 games, and he lost.
I'm shocked that he defended the Pirates though.
No. That you don't understand.
But he did.
Let me explain. For 10 years, he says things to be entertaining.
No, I get that.
Because he likes the reaction that you gave him.
Yeah.
Because he goes, I wouldn't know anything if I didn't come on Pittsburgh Sportsline about
But-
baseball.
But he made a great point, and he defended the Pirates. That's all.
If it wasn't for Pittsburgh Sportsline, I wouldn't have known my last baseball game. I went 8 for 8 for all these years. I thought I went 8 for 7, man. 7 for 8.
8 for 7.
7 for
He
8.
got a hit more than the at-bats he took in the game. That's impressive. No, I know.
Well, let me explain. For all of you out there, you all know people that they say they're honest, but if you're telling me you're honest, you're not really honest. So I always learned as a young man, just tell the truth, because it's hard to keep track of.
I went out on top.
It's hard to keep track of all your lies. So we're going to move on with Nick Callis. What's on your mind?
Well, now I'm thinking of Smoking Jim and I still got to play Wii Sports Baseball, so that's kind of fun.
You know, I have
Yeah,
a
but he
bet.
said
I have
that-
a bet on that. It doesn't ever happen.
No, I mean I'm not saying it will. I'm sure it won't. But
Okay.
that's just. That's
I
just
appreciate your positivity.
my- Thanks. Yeah. Well,
You'll be right.
man. This has been quite the week though. Me running in here, I had to go use the restroom real quick, and I came back in a flash. My mic fell off for the first time in this show's history. Our computers here have been a little acting up lately. I'm just kind of stressed. So that's Nick's personal life coming at you a little bit for the first time in a while. Been a tough week.
Can we send any cards? You want to give your
No,
address?
that's okay. I just wanted to,
No, because we have people that have.
I wanted to explain a little bit why I just zoomed in.
No, but people have empathy like me I'll drop a present off for you next week.
Yeah. I feel bad about Amy and her situation too.
It's terrible.
It is terrible.
That's
I'm
why I
glad
brought it out. She's well known here. She does commit to be fit. She does shows here. She does great interviews. She filled in for me when I was recovering from my transplant to do the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation Superhero 5K 1 mile run. And she did a great job. She knocked it out of the ballpark. And just a great person. And her husband was an EMT guy, so he was out there helping the public all the time. Just a great dad and husband.
Yeah, I mean, that's tough to swallow because, Amy's nice. And yeah, I've worked on a lot of her productions. And she's been
Our prayers
very
go
nice
out
woman.
to their family
Absolutely.
and families.
Yes.
We wish them well. And just something like that is shocking.
Yeah. But to relate some sports.
What's on your mind sports-wise?
On Sportsline. I was going to talk about Smoke and Jim's point, so I'm glad he brought it up first. I mean, it's one loss. Pirates still took 3 or 4 from the Cubs, and right now the Pirates look better than both the Cubs and the Reds. So, I mean, that's definitely progress from what we thought was going to be happening. And it seems like, again, I mean, I said this before, but the prospects and their team, the veterans on the team, everything just seems to be melding together well. So that is definitely a
Hold
good
it.
thing.
I'll give something positive. I watched the end of the game, I think on Sunday. Bednar.
The bullpen's great.
I'll give some stats on that before
Okay.
you get too crazy. So I've been interested because they're the worst ERA in the first and second innings. Now, Smoke and Jim will bite into that, right? Go ahead and bite. He's ready to. Go ahead, make a comment, something negative. How about in the last couple innings, they're the best ERA in baseball? Now I'll say something negative.
I
Did
don't
you
bet-
swallow yet?
Do you still bet against them?
Or me?
Do you still bet against the Pirates?
Every day.
Okay, well, you're losing a little bit of money there because they've got as many wins as losses right now. Anyway, though, yeah.
Yeah, carry on.
Now, I mean, their bullpen has been extraordinary. I mean, they're a quality team. They're watchable. They're getting watchable. It seems like it's going to be enjoyable because the Cubs, they're really starting their rebuild. I mean, they're just like struggling right now. All their veteran players that core from the World Series is gone, so that's tough. And then the Reds have just always been terrible, but they've been extra terrible since their one representative cursed them in that interview when he said, "You have to come to the ballpark. We don't have a choice." So I mean, I thought that was interesting. There's one player though that I was thinking of who used to play for the Pirates that's now playing for a team that is in contention for a playoff spot this year. And if you guys remember, Tyler Anderson pitched for the Pirates last season. The man is now
never heard of him.
in the Dodgers rotation, and the Dodgers are doing pretty well for themselves. So, I mean, I've just been asking this question for the last year, and I'm just going to ask it again. How is it that these guys who are like veterans and established are going to other teams, and they're doing well, and they're doing better than they did with the Pirates? I have no idea. I think it's
I got a couple ideas.
Okay, well, I don't have any ideas. So, yeah.
They were dogging it here.
No. Here's what happened here.
Yeah.
Until we had some changes. The pitching coach, I won't mention his name, but he reclaimed a lot of good pitchers that were reclamation projects.
Mm-hmm. No.
But his philosophy was Nick's played baseball, so he was teaching them pitch to contact.
Well, I remember that.
Good point.
So
I mean, he was gone,
when
though, by the time Anderson was here.
I know with him, but the other ones that went to the World Series and everything else, and Garrett Cole who signed multi-million-dollar contracts, all of a sudden their fastballs went up 4 to 5 miles per hour.
Yeah. Clay Holmes, another guy, Charlie Morton. I mean, yeah, they're all. Yeah, I mean, I'm just wondering, like, what in the world?
That's why.
What are the Pirates doing differently, though? I mean, that pitching coach isn't here anymore. So, like, I'm always just curious as to why Tyler Anderson is just another example. Not that the Pirates would have been necessarily better with him, but
Well,
I always wonder what other philosophies are teaching elsewhere.
Doesn't it make you think that when somebody coaches up players on another team, what are our coaches really doing with the players and talent they have?
That's the exact question I'm asking.
They're not coaching them up. I'll just make it clear.
Yes. That's what's on my mind.
We're going to go to A2 now.
All right.
Yeah.
What's been on my mind is the Pittsburgh Steelers and the NFL is coming up. The draft is in, I think, 2-3 days?
2 days.
Thursday.
2 days, yeah.
We'll correct you. You know that.
Yeah.
You're only 21. We can add to that. Go ahead.
I agree with Smokey, Jim, and Nick that the Steelers should definitely take a quarterback in the first round. Kenny Pickett or Malik Willis, either or will
Yes.
be perfect for the Steelers. But then I was disappointed in the Steelers, actually, because a few weeks ago I said that they should not re-sign Terrell Edmunds, in which the past week they did re-sign Terrell Edmunds
No surprise from
to a
me.
one-year deal. I think that they could have probably spent that money elsewhere, personally. He's not a terrible player. He's just not what the Steelers need at the safety position. I feel like they need a guy that's hard-hitting and can keep up with a lot of these quick wide receivers, which he's not that guy.
Well, I got a question for you since we're speaking on this. Hasn't he started every year for them and
That's
played
the thing.
all the games? And
He has not shown that he is the person that should be the starter. He can
you
be a
think
backup, maybe.
exactly what I think, and my point is, if that's what they were happy with, to get a guy for $2.5 million, the Honey Badger, they'd have spent 20 times that to get him. So, I mean, your point is well taken, but I go to Art Rooney II and his leadership, or lack of, that permeates the whole team. And like A2 just brought out, or Anthony Paiano, I'll just say it who it is, and the vet looked nice out there, looked clean.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So it was shining up, nice and white. Smoking Jim tried to put a dent in it, but he doesn't realize it's fiberglass. So he hurt his fist. He doesn't know that. But no, I agree with you on it.
Yeah.
But I put the blame at the top.
Yeah, they just should have just put the money. There's plenty of other safeties that are free agents right now that they could have done it with, in my opinion. In my opinion, they should just put the money in Tyrann Mathieu. He has a lot. He's a big contract. He is a little older, but I think he's worth the time just for a little bit. Even 2 years would be suitable, and I think he would be.
Hold on, what would they have paid him?
A hefty amount, but I think he's worth the pay. Because what else are they going to throw the money into really right now? Because Ben's contract's gone.
Would they pay him more than Smoking Jim and his Bitcoin profits? what number are we looking at here?
Well,
He lost money, but so I guess they would gain money.
we're going to end on that happy note.
That's what's on my mind.
Because not only is A2 the Rookie of the Year, but he's been dynamite here each week. And you just gave the greatest answer in the world. Because if you don't see more money on the table from Smoking Jim, you know he don't have it. And now we're going to get a negative comment. Smoking Jim.
I just got an NBA question. When's Brooklyn's next game?
Hold it. I have a question to you. Did
Next season.
A2 even bring up anything about the
He's the
NBA?
NBA expert. I lost track of the games. I was
They were
following
eliminated.
Brooklyn.
Smoking Jim, everybody knows the Celtics have the #1 defense.
Really?
Everybody knows that
Danny Ainge playing.
Oh boy.
he's their general manager.
He was good. I used to like him.
Well, Smoking Jim, you're digressing right off the point
He
of
was a good
anything you were
college baseball
saying.
player, too.
Right now, with Irving and KD, Irving wasn't there and missed 42 games because he didn't believe in a vaccine. He let his teammates down,
That's a black
and he
thing.
made a comment. No, it's worse than that. It's a selfish comment because he made a comment afterwards that they need the gel. If you're not there, let me explain. If you're not there for 42 games out of an 82-game season, Smoking Jim at Gateway knows that's more than half. That how do you gel with somebody like Smoking Jim?
He also missed a few games because of his religion.
Really?
That's a great
Yeah, he
point
became
there too.
Islamic over the past
Oh,
season.
see, I didn't
Yeah,
know.
you know Ramadan is being celebrated right recently. Oh, you don't know, so we're okay.
Yeah, that
Glad
looks
you
so
asked. All right, we're gonna end. We're gonna end this segment on Smoking Jim. Went totally off subject. We'll try to get him back. Oh, he'll be back because he got to eat.
Yeah.
No, that's good. All right, I got to do what's on my mind. Everywhere I go, people go, who do you like in the draft? Who do you think the Steelers should get? I go, I'm trying to not put any input in because I don't get paid by the Steelers to do it. And all I see is a team that hasn't done well for 10 plus years with good players and even won a playoff game or even go to a second round. So my input doesn't mean anything. I go with common sense and what money you have under the cap. And this is one of the worst years from what I've seen and heard because I only hear 2 real quarterbacks that could be in first-round picks. And one's Willis, who they say it could take a year or two to develop. Now, to me, I used to bet on horses, and that would be called a long shot because we need somebody to start and replace what, a Hall of Fame quarterback. So that's one rejection in my point. Then they go Kenny Pickett.
Yes.
And I had a good conversation with my friend Judge Arnone, and we usually agree on things. And he asked me about the draft and Kenny Pickett. I go, hey, he did great. Took him 5 years to become great. I don't care about his hand size. He did great. He read defenses. He was good. But he's no Danny Marino, and I would not pick him. He goes, well, I say to pick him. So Judge Arnone's with you guys.
Yes.
I'm against all of you totally. Get a defensive guy or offensive lineman. We need linemen because guess what? We have the greatest running back who beat Franco Harris's rookie record, and he didn't have an offensive line. I played center at KO. Some of you know that. So I know what it's like to be a center. They drafted a guard who didn't play center except maybe a couple times, who was 4 to 10 yards in the back field because he was getting pushed back. Najee, the first 6 games, I don't think he touched the ball and ran anywhere from 6 yards up on his own. He did it all on his own. 6 yards back, he was getting hit. So if you're telling me we don't need offensive linemen, they tried to get it with some veterans, but guess what? I don't know what we'll see out of them. I'd like to see somebody that's a great guard or tackle on defense or in offense. Tackles you can get, guards only on offense, and see them play on the Steeler line. And if they need a year or two, I'll trust that because I know somebody that's good in college that played center or guard, they would just fall down in front of that defensive guy and he wouldn't get 6 yards deep. Just saying. On that happy note, we'll be back in 10 seconds with Fiction and Fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac. And he's done eating, folks, for all of you that needed an update.
And I got to agree with my main man, A2, because he talked about Terrell Edmonds. There's a guy that's dropping in the draft right now, Al Levine, the talking machine. He played for Notre Dame. Everybody said he was the best player in the draft. His name is Kyle Hamilton. He's a strong safety, 6'4", 220 pounds. Unfortunately, this guy ran only a 4.640 at the combine. He ran.
What did he run?
4.640. And then at his pro day.
You didn't stutter.
At his pro day at Notre Dame, he only ran a 4.7. So I'm expecting Kyle Hamilton to drop in the draft. If he drops out of the top 10, Al Levine, the talking machine, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers should go get him immediately. This is a playmaker. This is a great, strong safety.
Just emphasize how fast he is.
He didn't run fast against the clock. Although
One more question, because I know you were honest. Would you think Tyreek Hill's one of the fastest guys in the league?
Tyreek Hill's fastest I've seen since Bob Hayes.
Oh, okay. So then I was going to say I think he's one of the fastest ever.
Yeah.
How would he defend him?
Well, we don't need him to defend Tyreek Hill. That'd be a mismatch. But we do need him to defend some of these 6'5" tight ends. That's a mismatch for strong safeties who are only 5'10", 5'11".
Thank you. Hey, Marilyn Mance, thanks for watching. She said, Smoking Jim came to my picnic once. He does know football. Yes, he does.
He knows football.
Yes, he does, Marilyn. Ralph Williams says, Happy Pretzel Day. Amy from Giant Eagle Bakery says National Pretzel Day. So thank you for both of our Sportsline fans bringing up non-sports. We appreciate that. And Marilyn Mance said, we need a quarterback. Let me explain something on the quarterback issue. I didn't think I had to bring it up. Now, you trust the Steelers that they know football. I mean, that's an easy question, right? Wouldn't you trust they know football? It's been in their family since '33. Okay.
Hopefully.
I'm not asking Smoking Jim
That's a good answer.
because he'll get out of that question. So my point is, if they sign a guy from another team, not for 1 year, but for 2 years, I mean, what does that mean to you? Okay, he don't know. What's it mean to you? And what's it definitely mean to you?
Means nothing because he only getting $7 million a year, which is chump change for quarterbacks.
All right, let me explain to a guy that doesn't even know the value of his investment.
Ha! Oh.
And we talked about it for a year. If you sign a guy to a contract for $1 million, $10 million, $5 million, $7 million for 2 years, I would say you have some interest in him being your starting quarterback when the other guy's been here 3 years and he's supposed to be the heir apparent to the Hall of Famer. And then Duck just retired from the CFL, who was the greatest quarterback in Smoking Jim's mind.
Oh, that's kind of sad.
So I feel bad for Smoking Jim. But my point to all of your comments is Trubisky's here for 2 years, and he looks like he can do it. He actually won a couple playoff games.
Well, the problem with Trubisky, and I'll finish with my fiction and fact real quick after this, is
We
that
already moved past.
no, I got a couple more things to say. But the
We never
problem-
got to it.
The problem with Trubisky always have been is lack of experience. He only started 1 year in college. Got all the talent in the world, nicest guy
How
in the world.
fast is he?
He can run, but he's
There's
not a
another
runner.
good point.
But he's not a
Marilyn,
runner.
you are correct.
I can
But
run
he's not
too,
a
but that
runner.
doesn't mean I can run well.
But everybody talks about
He does.
Malik Willis and Kenny Pickett.
Hold it.
There's-
Before we go on, I got to thank Jim Ellenbogen. He said buying an expensive quarterback without a line is like buying a Rolls Royce without insurance.
That's true. That's true.
And he knows about insurance because he talked on the show.
And you know about ruining good cars.
But here's one Al Levine to talk
Now,
about.
we'll go to the fiction and fact because we got past that. I was just acknowledging because my phone, we had a glitch with the computer here with Jonathan. A1 was talking about, Nick was talking about. So I had a glitch on mine trying to get the feed. So whoever else is watching, I haven't seen it, but I wanted to shout out to them. We appreciate our weekly Facebook Live that Nick got us going here. Thank you, Nick. And we appreciate you all taking the time out of your evenings to be here with us. So just wanted to put that out there. Sorry to delay the legendary Stevie Wonder lookalike Smoking Jim Frazier.
I'll just be real quick. If Pittsburgh Steelers don't get a quarterback in the first round, my third-rated quarterback is, I really love him. I don't know what round he'll fall in, probably around the 5th round, is Cole Kelly, white kid out of southeastern Louisiana, 6'8", 250 pounds. Remind me of
Did
Justin
you say
Herbert.
6'8"?
6'8".
What's he running a 40?
Well, he's not a fast 40 guy, even though he had 29 career touchdowns, but two-time All-American.
Passing or running?
Running. He had 29 running touchdowns. Passed
It's
for 400
6'8".
yards a game. Yeah, so he's good. We already talked about Troy
Hold it. What
Anderson.
league is East Louisiana?
They're Division 1-ish.
Like your top 10 list.
Division 1-ish, yeah.
Oh, just checking.
But we already talked about Kyle Hamilton, who I like. If I would love for the Pittsburgh Steelers to get Trevor Penning from Northern Iowa. He is a Conrad Dobler type of a player, best left tackle I've seen in a long time. Al Levine, the talking machine. And we talk about receivers. Pittsburgh Steelers
You're
are
the
down,
draft guy. You keep talking.
Yeah, the
Don't make it short.
Steelers are down 3 receivers from last year. Deontay Johnson is in a contract year. He ain't coming to minicamp. He can't hold on balls when he comes to practice every day. What's
Hold
gonna
it. For
happen
12
now?
games he did. He did it for 12.
Yeah, but now he ain't practicing, so you know he's going to have to drop Al Levine, the talking machine. So, you know.
You
And,
may
and-
be right.
Yeah, and finally, Al Levine, the talking machine. You know, the Pittsburgh Steelers, I don't think is that far off. I would not be opposed to doing what the Dallas Cowboys did to get them their first Super Bowl. They drafted Calvin Hill. He was Rookie of the Year. The very next year, they drafted Dwayne Thomas, who was Rookie of the Year. The 1-2 punch took them to their first Super Bowl victory. There's a kid out of Iowa State named Brycey Hall, and I don't got to tell you he's black. Brycey Hall. But he's about
Disclaimer,
225
we don't
pounds. He
judge
can do it
people
all.
by their names or color. But
Well,
thank you.
I don't think there's too many. I don't think there's a white Keyshawn out there, is it? or a black Becky. But hey, Al
we're all
Levine, the talking
realists.
machine, we're excited about the draft. Al Levine, the talking machine. I wouldn't be opposed to getting a tight end.
Well, I got one semi-serious question.
Yeah.
Should we get another punter?
Get rid of that black punter.
Now there's a disclaimer.
Get rid of him, Al Levine, the talking machine. I don't know why Coach Tomlin likes him.
Smoking Jim.
Can it be my turn yet?
Disclaimer to end. Fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac. Wow. Thank you for listening, and that's disclaimed from front to back. All right, we're going to, 10 seconds, we're going to do the VIP.
You guys might be shocked, but I'm going to talk about the draft as well. Yay. All right, so, yeah. Al already kind of spoiled some of it. I think the Steelers should draft Kenny Pickett or a quarterback at the least. But more of my opinion is not going to be on who the Steelers should draft or predicting who they're going to draft because I don't think anybody really knows for certain what's going to happen. Dave Cable, our facility director, and I were talking today, and he was like, Nick, who do you think the Steelers are going to draft? And I'm like, well, I think that they should draft a quarterback. For all these factors, it would
What
be
did
in their
Dave
best
think?
interest. He said, no, I don't think they're going to. But
Yes.
also,
Great minds think
Dave,
alike.
Yeah, Dave was like, why would they do that? But
Hence my question.
yeah, but I was thinking, because I'm seeing all these mock drafts, and A1 had brought one to me, and he's like, read this, see what this Steelers prediction is going to be. And it was my response. I'm literally like, hey, man, listen, these people put out these mock drafts to make money because certain people care about other people's opinions. And I'm just here to say, nobody knows what's going to happen on Thursday. Last year, everybody had a general idea that, like, hey, Najee Harris was like, somebody the Steelers would need at the time. They need to bolster the running game a little bit. So, like, everybody, everybody might have been happy that it happened, but it also wasn't, like, the biggest shock in the world. Like, it was almost supposed to happen. It was pretty predictable. This year, though, for many teams, the Steelers are one of them, nobody knows what's going to happen. They could draft a quarterback. They also need help on the defensive side. They also need some extra offensive line strength. And it's like, what are they going to choose? So, don't hold the mock drafts too heavy in your heads. Like, who cares what somebody wrote?
I don't put
I'm
it
glad
in
you
at all.
don't. But, for
Guess
all the
what?
people watching, this is Nick's opinion. This is Nick's. Let's bring us down to earth and sing a little kumbaya.
Lay it
and just,
on
like,
us. The
relax,
suspense is killing
because
me.
we don't know what's going to happen. And that's what makes this draft so exciting, especially for people who are Steelers or any other teams out there who, might be in mystery land like we are. Nobody knows what's going to happen. Let's appreciate that when the draft pick happens at 20 for the Steelers, or like the off chance maybe that they might trade up or down, which I don't think is likely to happen.
Why
but it
would
might.
they do that?
Well, some mock drafts, one person put out there I saw, they're gonna trade up to like 12 or 10.
10, I heard.
And then they're gonna draft Matt Corral as the quarterback. And I'm like, what?
They can wait to
Who in the
105.
world? I'm like, who in the world thinks that this is a feasible idea?
Was it somebody from Twitter? Because they know everything.
No, it was a legit like sports figure.
Oh, it wasn't Twitter.
No, it wasn't just some random Twitter person. There was some legitimate football person who was like, the Steelers are going to trade up a pick to draft Matt Corral. Guys, that's unlikely to happen. But like, there are just some of these mock drafts.
Explain to somebody that may not understand your point.
The Steelers would have to give up something to trade up. Like they're at pick 20 right now, but they would have to trade assets that they have now to earn that higher
up.
pick, to move up, to get a pick sooner than they have at 20 right now.
Thanks for explaining. Some people need to know.
10's a sooner pick than 20. So it's like the likelihood that they're going to give up the assets that they already have, which they have pretty good assets as it is, and like players and like draft stock right now, that they're not going to give anything up just to draft a quarterback who's seen as maybe the somewhere between 4 and 7 on the quarterback list.
And isn't
like
this,
that's
in
mediocre.
your
for-
humble opinion
Yes.
and the knowledge you have, isn't this one of the worst quarterback drafts we've had in years?
It is, but I still like Kenny
Okay.
Pickett. I'll just put that
I
out
just
there.
wanted to bring that out.
That's an opinion within the big opinion. I like Kenny Pickett. He's a nice guy. Good player.
I like you too, but I'm not putting you in as quarterback.
Wow. Ouch.
Just wanted to share that.
I tried out for quarterback when I was 14. Third day, my coach said, "You're a tight end today." Anyway, not the point.
How old are you? How old are you now?
23.
Welcome aboard. Okay.
But yeah, so
That's from our resident 23-year-old.
if I could, maybe just kind of bask in the fact that nobody knows what's going on and appreciate the excitement that we have, because this is unusual. You know, it doesn't happen often where like we actually don't have a clue what the Steelers are going to do. So, and if you're right about what they do, hopefully I come in here next week and I'm like, they did it, they drafted a quarterback. But that's the fun of it. So just appreciate a little bit of the unknown here in this situation, because it's fun to not know. It's also scary, but in this case, it's fun.
Well, Nick, you just hit on a key thing that I go through every year.
What's that?
I don't know or really care who they draft. I wait to see what happens in July.
Well, my whole point is just don't pay
Then
attention.
I go by all the opinions of everybody in the media that here's the guy that's lighting up the camp.
Yeah.
And then they let him go.
I'm just saying, don't pay attention.
I'm just saying that I'm
Espe-
already there.
To the mock drafts especially, just cool it. We're good. But that's my opinion.
Thank you, Nick. We appreciate that. We're going to a new segment. I'll let it be a surprise to you right now. Hopefully this works in 10 seconds.
Geno Smith will drop.
Welcome back to the new segment, Take Two with A2. Just did the new graphic up to the screen they saw.
Hold it. Who designed it? I'm in charge of this show. Who designed it?
It was self-made by myself.
Congratulations.
Went to school for
I approve this. Take two with
With
A2. How'd I do?
that. Pretty good. That was really, thanks to Nick for the name for that. That was very creative. That was Nick's idea. So he was the brains behind the name. But
Well, great graphics. I loved it.
basketball is still going on. We'll talk about more basketball.
He's our NBA guy, according to
NBA.
Smokin' Jim.
He touched on it a little bit about the Nets earlier. I thought there was going to be more sweeps. They were the only sweep in the NBA, I think, that's ever can happen at this point. They got swept by the Celtics. It was everyone thought it was going to be a very close series, but there was a lot of factors that changed the outlook of it. KD was got really heavily defended by Jason Tatum really well in the playoffs, so he was terrible. Kyrie was also being weird in the playoffs, but they had some key upsides, like Bruce Brown was playing very well, so I wouldn't look too down upon the Nets. They just were just not the better team in that sense. There is some very good series, though. The Timberwolves are the 7th seed, having 2-2 right now, 2 wins.
Who
Both teams.
predicted those Timberwolves?
I am hoping that they will win. I still have faith that they will win. It's also a surprise that the 8th-seeded Pelicans are tied series with the number 1 seeded Suns, but both teams have their star players out. Zion Williamson for the Pelicans is out, and also Devin Booker for the Suns are out.
Which just happened with
Yeah,
Booker.
he happened in the playoffs, so that is going to be – so the AC could actually overthrow the 1st seed. And that's going to be a first in a while in the NBA if it does happen, which I'm very excited to see. Hopefully, I would love to see the Pelicans and the Timberwolves make it to the conference finals. Will it happen? Probably not. But it's a dream that I would love to see happen because they're both actually very young and fun teams to watch. They are both – I think all the star players are under the age of 26. So that's
Wow,
pretty
you guys can relate to that.
So that's pretty cool. So, yeah, that's my segment, and I'm more NBA. Can't wait to see what happens. Actually, Timberwolves are on right now. I think it's tied.
What we got to go watch after the show?
I'm gonna go watch.
You guys
I'm
will have to
excited.
hang out.
I'm
No.
definitely excited.
Hey, thanks again. Take two with A2. Look at that. And he keeps his hoodie look going. Look at him all in yellow. Mine is different. Does it look green compared to his yellow? Can we get a shot on that, Jonathan?
Mine's like a light yellow. Yours is like a lime or green.
Yeah. No, this is just strange.
Compared,
A1.
no, you definitely look green compared to him.
Do I?
Yeah.
Put your eye. Don't ask Smoking Jim.
I am colorblind though, so that's the tough opinion on me.
Well, then we can't trust anything. My son's colorblind, and he has issues with red and green.
Me too. So there you go. And that's green. So whoops.
Guess what? This is actually black.
Yeah.
It's red. What are you going to do now?
We're gonna move on, I guess.
We're going to move on. 10 seconds for my segment. Running out of time, so. Paiano's done 2 in a row. He did my graphic. He's on fire. And my shirt looks a little green, so we're cool with that. Thanks to A1 for the shirt. Pittsburgh Sports Line on there. We're good. On location, not much to talk about. So I wanted to end it with some Penguin talk. They haven't been winning a lot, but they still have a couple guys that are playing very well named Sidney Crosby, Chris Letang, and they're mixing up some of the lines. Malkin's had some issues. He came back and scored a goal after being suspended, a.k.a. he needed the rest, 4 games off. I don't know why. He didn't play the whole season, but these things happen. All these athletes nowadays, I grew up in an era where you played even if your leg was broken and other things. Look at Tocchet on the Penguins, things like that. So it's just odd to see this with the Penguins. They got 100 points again. To Smoking Jim, that doesn't mean much, but that means a lot in hockey. And they did that again. Well, he knows.
Yeah,
He's just ready to agree with the latest person, but I'm being disruptive to him. So anybody have some thoughts on the Penguins? I'll start with A2 next to me. Anything.
I'm still just worried about the whole goaltender situation, really. That's pretty much it.
Well, how about the Smith has done well?
Yeah,
he's looked good. I'm surprised by what he's done. And his goal save percentage is .931, which is pretty good right now.
Yeah,
and he had 2 shutouts.
It just sucks that Yari's out. I just really like him.
I wanted to see if he could prove the season wasn't a fluke.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to see.
That's what I'm looking for.
I wanted to see him
Nick.
in the playoffs.
Like I said, I had some confidence in still in Casey the Smith thing.
Well, then it's
was
been...
Was it against the Red Wings? He had like a bunch of saves, or maybe the game before that. I know. What was their most recent game? No, the Flyers. It was the Flyers. So it was the game before the Flyers. So it was the Red Wings when they beat the Red Wings. I liked what he was doing there. He saved a lot of shots, and then the Penguins erupted in like the 3rd period and scored a bunch of goals.
Well, look at he set a record shutout with 52 saves.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I was thinking of.
I knew you needed some help.
Yeah. No, but I was surprised they lose to a team like the Flyers. I mean, like the Flyers aren't bad, but it's like that's tough. Like that just made me kind of sad.
You know what parity is?
Yes.
We have it in the NFL, we have it in Major League Baseball, but they sway towards the rich teams, so parity doesn't work in the MLB, and you know that with luxuries. But in hockey, you have parity too.
Yeah. So that was tough.
And you know what that means? Any team on any given day can win. Yeah. All right. Smoking Jim, we know you're limited, so tell us about Ovechkin. Oh, look at the shirt he got on.
But isn't the Penguins playing against a really good player tonight?
No. All right, we'll move on to that. We're about ready to end the show. Doesn't Smoking Jim look good in his Pittsburgh Sportsline polo? I found it in my car a few weeks ago. When I got a new car, I had put the bag with his shirt in. I promised it to him, and he asked me what I owe. I said, it's my gift to you.
Thank you, sir.
So enough of that. Hey, thanks to Nick. Thanks to Jonathan. Thanks to A1. Thanks to A2. And Ryan's doing a heck of a job. We tried to make the show a little flashier with when we're talking and the 4-shot picture we have going on. We tried to show a little different views for you. Hope you liked it. Please stay Joey strong.